Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joys of Sorrow, here from the Joys of Sorrow channel. I just want to go real quick through what it is that I do when I do water changes. So, for example, here with the betta fish, today I'm not going to do anything really drastic as it was last week, or it was just last week when I did the gravel backing on both tanks. However, today I'm just going to do a simple water change. So, I'm going to shut off the power to the filters and the lights. I have a backup light system in here that doesn't use this power here, so that light will help me out. And in Pinky's tank's case, I'm going to be removing these dying plants right here. Unfortunately, these pretty bushy plants that I didn't make it. It looks like these plants actually require they require a lot more light than you know the cheapy little 12-volt light provides. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of those. And I'm just going to leave these little bushy plants in there for now. Maybe find something else for her in there. Something that doesn't require that much light. I might just go back to regular hornwort on there. The only pain in the ass that is that the hornwort grows very fast. So I have to do plant maintenance twice a week on the tank. And that'll be a little bit of a frustration, but I wouldn't mind. Maybe do a little bit of anacris in the back, maybe instead. Something more simple, something that won't die out so fast. But these little, I think these are Rapens plants. I don't remember 100%. Are doing pretty well. This one right here keeps getting uprooted because of how these plants are just drooping off, and then the flow just starts to try to pick it up. So, and again, the basic tools that I use to clean or do my water changes are a bucket. For these small tanks, I use I think this is a 2.5 or 3 gallon bucket. It's a 3 gallon bucket. A measuring cup style thing here. And then I have the gravel back. Now I'm not using the gravel back in these tanks today. They do share a gravel back. I know there's a lot of people say that each tank should have its own tools, and I agree for the big tanks where I'm breeding, but for these two bettas, it doesn't seem to mind. Usually what I end up doing is once I'm done with one tank, I will put really hot water through this for about a half hour to 45 seconds, maybe up to a minute, and then I will let it dry for a little while and then go back and do the other tank. As hopes to not spread any diseases or bacteria. And then this thing I picked up at a Daiso one day for $1.50, and it's a liquid transfer pump. You stick the hard tube in to where the liquid is you want to transfer, and then you pump, and that will come out of this tube. And so what I end up doing is I'll usually stick this end on the hard ends in the tank, the soft end in the bucket, and then just siphon off the amount of water that I'm going to change. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do today for them. But as you guys can see, Pinky is as beautiful as she's always been. Her coloration is really wild. It's like a pinkish red and purple. And here is Mally, who is actually starting to look a little bit more on the men's now. He's not as stressed out he doesn't seem to be as stressed out as he used to be, and I'm glad. I'm hoping that he'll get fully the normal. Hey buddy, hey. No, he's still kind of iffy about my finger. He doesn't know. Hey bud. Now, let's get to the big old desert tank here. As you can see, there is a lot of activity right now, and that is because I just recently finished feeding. I figured once I get the fry in there, I should just start feeding everybody. That way, everybody, starts establishing each other, getting to know each other. And there's a few little pieces of plants floating. There's one piece of grass right there. There's a little baby Java fern. The baby Java ferns, I'm slowly starting to transfer over here. Trying to get them try to put them in the rocks. If not, I will put them in the sand. Try to keep the rhizome on top of the sand and the roots to the bottom. There is soil in this tank, so that might be able to help it out. But from what I understand, Java ferns get their nutrients from the water column, not so much the substrate or the sand or whatever they're in. You could see one of my or one of the rabbit snails in there. There was a horn. The horn nerite is pretty well blended. Sorry for the fuzzy image, but yeah, that's right there. That little circular thing is actually one of the nerites, and the nerites have actually been hiding out for the most part inside the cave, because that's where I'm storing the wonder shells now. I tightened up the rock formation on this end where I hide the filters just a little bit, so that there's a little more room in this front area here. Also made it a little more denser, so that once I did decide I was going to transfer the fry in here, that they would have a good area to hide, where there's a lot of nook and crannies, where even though these guys are still not that big, they don't have big enough mouths to try to eat them. You know, even this big buddy right here. But you know, just to make sure they have a place to hide if, you know, worst case scenario. But so far, I mean, the first dozen or so I put in here, they seemed very chilled and relaxed. After a few hours, they started mingling with their older siblings or half siblings, step siblings, whatever you want to call it. And now everybody just pretty much finished eating, and you know, they left the top of the water pretty clean, so they really went at it. I gave them a mixture of a little bit of brine shrimp with, this is my main feeding food right now, Fancy Guppy by Hikari. It really brings the colors out of the fish, and you guys see the bigger fish. There's a reason why that orange is popping, and I honestly give it credit to the Fancy Guppy. Mainly the protein. There's a lot of protein in it, which, as I understand it, for fish breeding, you want protein. You want a lot of protein for these guys as they're starting to grow up. So today, this tank will get a water change. It's not going to be a big water change. It'll probably be a 15% water change, maybe 20, and that's about it. The froggies here are doing phenomenally. Little guy here is actually starting to get a little chunky. Little by little, he's starting to gain his weight. He is getting taller. Legs are a little lankier. Females at the other end over there, unfortunately, because this tank is angled. You know, you can get a side of her right there. Now, the only problem I am having with this tank here is actually the lights. The light in this one, just because it has that one more bulb, seems to be doing really well for the plants. However, the Java fern has a ton of brown algae, just, you know, right here at this top leaf. Thinking about just cutting off some of those taller leaves and leaving the shorter leaves, but you know, that'll get rid of a lot of plant if I do that. If you guys are wondering, no, it's not that I'm dirty and I don't throw my trash out. This Taco Bell cup I washed and I poked a bunch of holes around it. This is necessary so that when you're doing a setup right here with sand or soil or gravel and soil, when you fill up the water, instead of just pouring the water directly into it, pour it into a cup with a bunch of holes at the bottom, so that the water doesn't, you know, stir up the dirt or the substrate of the sand so much. So these guys have already eaten and they've had their meal for the day. You know, I'm only feeding them once a day. Frogs, I didn't realize, you know, these frogs don't actually need a lot of food. At the minimum, they need to eat about 3 times a week. So every other day is actually not a bad option for these guys. And at least once a week, they do get bloodworms. So do the betas. And I tried giving them bloodworms last week. Or not last week, but 3 days ago. And it didn't really work out so well. So they're unfortunately not big enough yet for mysis shrimp. Mysis shrimp is the newest food that I'm trying out for the fish. The this beta actually was really quick to grab on and eat that stuff up. Pinky, on the other hand, not so much. But then she actually tried it. Then she was okay with it and went on for it. Frogs were first confused, but then pretty much accepted it. And right there, this is Hikari Beta BioGold. So this is specifically food for betas. Reason you see this and this here, and this is, I have to clean this up, but I actually put little bits of the food in here, and then I'll put a drop or two of Vitachem. And what Vitachem does is pretty much it basically supplements vitamins and stuff, nutrients for your fish. I'm trying this as an experiment to kind of heal up Mally too of his constant fin rot that really just seems to be brought by stress, because if it was a real serious case of fin rot, he should be dead by now. He really should. I haven't wanted to use medications on him. I mean, I have the medication to do so, but I do worry that maybe the last, first Mally died because maybe I overdosed him on meds or underdosed him. So I want to try to go for a more natural approach. And apparently, this is what the Germans do too. So they give a lot of vitamins to their fish. They'll usually also feed them garlic if it's a stomach problem. However, this is not a stomach problem. This is, fungal, or it would be fungal or stress related. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get started now on the water changes. I'm not really going to show you guys that. It seems to be a little boring. So I'll go ahead and leave this update now. You guys, hopefully you liked it. So if you did, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon. And you guys have yourselves a great day. Thank you for watching.